All right, here it comes.
Oh my god, it's perfect.
That's exactly how I planned it.
Oh my god! We're gonna be flying in there.
I started this build well over 3 years ago when I knew very little about fabricating and even less about filming, editing, or posting to YouTube. So with that being said, this beginning video was rough. And right after posting this, I took about a 2-year break because I just knew I wasn't gonna do this build justice, and I came back with my now fiance who leveled up my game in the filming department 1000%. And you'll see that in the next set of clips when we start working on the rear suspension. But this is the Kawasaki KFX 400. It's 2004, it is super beat up, and basically in the first video, all I did was make it work and then drove it around for 10 minutes. This is the Power Wheels. This is what I started with. And after this, you'll see me drive it around for like 2 seconds and we'll be on to the rear suspension.
That's insane.
How much wider is this going to be than a 4-wheeler? 56 inches wide. Okay guys, we are back on the Power Wheels and it looks freaking fantastic. Just got some sweet rear shocks. These are off of a Polaris 900 XP. They're front shocks on it. So I think they will be soft enough for our long travel rear suspension. Really don't have any idea of how to build A-arms with tube bending. So this will be my first time trying to figure that out. Eyeball it, I guess. We want this to come straight and then bend into it. So you see it doesn't twist too much at the bend.
Yeah.
Not bad.
It looks great.
Yeah, it's close to a 90. Oh, God. Sometimes you're just born genetically superior.
Great job, babe.
Wow.
That fits perfectly.
The problem is I'm not going to be able to perfectly replicate it for the other side. Okay, that's much better.
You can tell this is a right angle. It actually looks perfect right now.
Yeah, it's almost exactly dead on. How cool these things look?
They are very cool.
Gonna sit like that, I think.
When is it fighting you? When you're pulling up?
At the extremes. This plate right here, this is the line that is going through the center of the wheel. So if the wheel was on it right now, the wheel would be like this. Right now, like this can hold straight up like that. It can still spin, which is good. And as it goes through the arc, I want to make sure that this stays parallel, which it is, it's doing good, but
It's fighting to stay there.
it's fighting to stay there, which, you know, the purpose of the upper arm is to make it so that it stays straight. So this is called plunge. See how the axle's going in and out?
Yeah.
Luckily, it seems like that is kind of making up for the suspension geometry right now. I'm holding it from here. It feels pretty good. I can undo this bolt and these can get lengthened if I need them to. What we're gonna do is we're gonna make sure that we build this upper one a little bit shallower. And part of the reason that's a problem, the axle is pivoting in here. This pivot points out here. This pivot should be in line with this pivot, which they're not. We'll see what it's doing once we build the upper arms, and we'll make a determination if we need to readjust where these are pivoting. Okay. I can put it back in and try to start bending here. Bad, right?
Babe, that looks awesome. It's curved exactly like the other one. Actually, I think that looks really cool. I think it looks really cool like that. eyes open that whole time.
Did you?
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Look at how positive it gets.
Up at the top here?
Yes. I mean, we're not going to be driving at that, but it's still not a design feature that I would like. Here's the thing, this is not moving badly at all. I'm going to grind this guy and swivel this down under and see if that changes anything real quick.
Babe,
okay?
this looks excellent. Like, I'm not even kidding. This looks like it was made in a factory.
Thank you.
That's insane.
That is absolutely ridiculous.
That is insane.
Those blocks are, that is 11 inches of suspension travel. I was getting binding primarily because the top was a little bit too short. So instead of cutting and making all new A-arms, I just undid the heim joints a little bit, which is the whole reason you use heim joints. Now, there's no binding at all at the top or the bottom. I accidentally built this side better. It's not finished yet because I still need to put this one on. But the alignment's a little better. So, see how much significantly higher this goes?
Oh, yeah. And
So
it looks easier, too.
That's what I was talking about with the internal binding versus on this side. I can try to lengthen these heim joints, the bottom and the top. The biggest thing is, you know, any travel where the bottom of the tire would be above the frame is pointless. But you want to get as much droop out of the suspension as possible. And right now it's binding because this isn't long enough and these aren't really long enough either. These arms are just a little bit longer. I lengthened these heim joints out. You can see it's got some serious negative camber at the bottom. And you know, we've got a crazy amount of travel now. So now we've got the full range of motion on this side, as well as the full range of motion on this side. We need to make the front suspension match the rear in the width. The plan to make this match the rear is I'm gonna pull these shocks out and then I'm gonna cut these and I'm just gonna lengthen them and see what that gets me. The reason that it could be difficult right now is these aren't the front wheels that I'm planning to use. I'm planning to use the wheels that are over there and the bolt patterns don't match. So I'm kind of gonna be eyeballing the width while I wait on the spacers. So let's see what we can do. So I'm struggling a little bit here because these aren't the wheels I'm going to use and I can't use the other wheels because I don't have the right bolt pattern right now. So I don't know where the new wheels will be located in distance to that. So making these A-arms is essentially impossible right now because I don't know where they're gonna fit. So I've just been eyeballing it to sit a little bit inward of the middle of that tire because the spacers we're gonna get is about 1 inch. That being said, for the A-arms to build them right now, I cut them and now I'm attaching pieces of tube in between to set the distance between the inside point and the outside. And that way I can take it all apart, bring it over to the table and build proper ones to the correct dimensions. What I've done so far is I marked out where the pivot point's gonna be and where it connects to the spindle, and I have them marked on the bench so that way we can bend up some tube. And then when we get the tubes the way we want it, we can cut it out and weld it all together. And that way we know what the dimensions are and exactly where they need to be placed. Almost a perfect 90.
I know. You're unbelievable.
Sometimes you're just that good, what can I say?
Oh my god, that looks excellent.
Yeah, I know, right? It looks literally perfect. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to, rather than weld this on the table, to make sure that this point is aligned with that point, I'm gonna put this in the joint up there, I'll put this one in the joint up there, and then I'll bring these over and weld it up that way. That is way more in alignment than this one, you know?
Yeah.
We have to add the lower brace because clearly the shock is not long enough to reach down here. And I mean, if we were to make it down here like this, then the wheel will have way too much leverage over the shock because it'll be several inches out further. I'm gonna add this brace in here, increase the height of it. It'll look pretty freaking cool too while it's doing it.
That's not notched in, babe. There you go.
A little bit anticlimactic, but it's a good thing. Front suspension is pretty soft.
Way different than the back suspension.
What do you say?
Way different than the back suspension.
Yeah, but that's because the...
So jump on it or no?
Yeah, it's a roller again.
It looks like a monster truck.
It does. It looks ridiculous.
Excellent job, baby.
Thank you. It looks so good.
It really, really does.
It is really, really coming together. Oh my God. So this right now is the steering shaft that I've made up. You can see it rotates. It rotates better up from the other end. But what the plan is right now, right down here, we're gonna add another mount. So a bolt can come all the way through. It'll be another mount right here. And then there will be a bushing here with an arm that pivots back and forth. Okay? And so then this arm that's like this, we'll have a tie rod that comes down to here, which will pull, and then we will have from that same arm another rod that goes to the center shaft, so that way when the center shaft spins, it pushes and pulls on all of the linkages, and that's how we'll get to turn. That's pretty good, right? Alright, so I just finished shaping these 3 steering yokes, and so the heim joints sit in between them and sandwich it nicely. As you can see, I ground the middlemost one the deepest, because as it starts to pivot back and forth, these are both pinched inward. So the inside is the critical dimension for it making contact with the bolt. I'm going to weld these on the bottom of that shaft. We have this arm here, which as it spins, it's gonna push on a arm that's gonna sit right here, which will pivot around this point. So we gotta make the mount for that pivot. We're gonna have the spacer here, which is what's gonna spin. We're gonna weld to that. This guy goes on here. This. Nut to hold it all together. And this can spin in here. So there will be arm on this that is gonna get pushed. And then there's gonna be a second one that goes from here down to the wheel as a tie rod. Make these nice and square like that. And then what I'm gonna do is weld it down the side, so that way when I drill it, the hole will be perfectly in a line with where it needs to be for all of them.
Perfect.
So that's a really, really cold weld. I did that on purpose because I just want it to hold it together slightly. I don't want it to stay that way. You know, I don't want to have to grind for an hour to get them apart.
Perfect.
Can you see the light through?
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna sit like that. And this guy is gonna connect up to here. So when this turns, it's gonna push this in sync with each other.
So cool.
Right?
Yes.
And then we're gonna have the other one come off on the back side, and it'll sit here and it'll go down to the wheel. So you want this pivot point to be in line with this one, to be in line with that one, okay? When it's going straight. What that means is when I have an arm coming from here down to the tie rod will be the same length as my A-arms, and so when I hit bumps and stuff, the tie rod will just pivot in the exact same plane as the A-arms, and I won't get any bump steer. Not very clean, but it'll get the job done. We finished up making the arms that make these pivot. So when it spins, it pivots and turns the wheel, as you can see.
Excellent. Oh my god. That looks so good. Great job. This looks so good.
We're gonna make the steering wheel. And for the center of our steering wheel, I'm gonna reuse a old sprocket that I have from the Booze Cruise. It's just gonna look absolutely sick having a sprocket in the middle of the steering yoke. But when we go to make the steering yoke, what I'm thinking is, there's gonna be 2 pieces on the sides, 4 from each end going into the center, which will connect to this. The main problem is that there's not much room to weld onto it. So what the plan is I'm gonna cut off a piece of this tube that's below me and just weld it up on the end of that, and then everything will connect to this tube, and this will just sit there and be kind of pretty and control all of the motion into the steering shaft. Okay. I'm gonna put this, I don't know what I should do next. I feel like I need these tacked on here to determine how to grind out the angles for cross pieces that are gonna go in here. So I'm gonna put this on the machine, tack these 4 pieces in place, how I like them, and then from there I'll build it and mark where the grinding needs to happen, and if I need to break the tacks, I'll break the tacks. We're gonna need to grind these sides away a little bit. They're a little bit too far, and because they're running, when I go to put it on here, it's running into where this one was welded. You can see that. So I'm gonna grind that away real quick. Much better. I think this one needs a little more. Alright, so I just finished tacking all 4 of these tubes in place to make this nice X. And the notches were a little bit difficult, but the plan now is we're gonna get some new tube, bend up 2 with slight arcs that'll go in here, and then we'll notch these guys out and tack it all in place, and we should have a nice steering yoke. When we're done, we'll cut whatever's extra off on the end on this side. But on this side, it's gonna have the extra, so like the throttle can be up here, or the brake or whatever can mount there. So let's bend a second one, and then we'll worry about notching this. All right, so now we'll need to notch these out. Tow me around the field and stuff, like around the barn.
Okay.
Alright?
Can you be like fast or okay, sorry.
Just go, keep going. Oh. Okay, this thing's working really good. Look at this, Chi. This is really steep. Oh my God, that was way nicer than the tube.
Yeah, I was actually really scared.
I knew you were.
Oh my God.
We're getting ready for the first start. There's a couple things that we need to take care of before we're actually ready to get there. The first being the radiator, second is the exhaust, and third would be the electrical. But the first and second are more important. So this is the radiator that came off the four-wheeler. It's a bit crusty, and I got a new one right here that we're gonna transfer all of the important bits onto. We got the radiator fan and reservoir, transfer that onto it. And then we will figure out how to mount this into the Power Wheels. So when we go to mount it into the Power Wheels, we're gonna put it actually right where it would be located in a car, right in the front, which is gonna look really cool. But the reason why it's important that we do the radiator first is the exhaust is gonna sit right behind it. So we need to make sure that we have enough room for the radiator, the fan, and then we can make the exhaust. Versus if we make the exhaust now, we might not have enough room for the radiator. Put the body off and see how it fits inside. Look at how good that fits. It's like it was designed for it. I think there was a person in the Power Wheels factory who was thinking about this. We got it as far forward as we can, right like that. And now it's got plenty of space in here. So I have two mounts on the top and one mount on the bottom. I think the bottom mount I'm going to be able to just pick up from another piece of steel with a couple of flat stock. But for this top one, I'm going to make a tube that connects to the upper shock mounts, comes down this way, bends across, and then comes back to this other upper shock mount, and then we'll have tabs that grab. Okay, so I have this point and this point, just the two places I'm gonna put my, initiate my bends. Probably a little bit less than 45 degrees is what I need to come back and pick up this point and this point, and it'll just be a nice little V across, or I don't know, trapezoid. We have quite a bit of degrees to go, but that's fine. And I need this side to come in more than this side. So one of the problems with this bender is if you're doing multiple bends, it's difficult to keep it in the same plane because it's such like a brute force bender. But now that I've got these three bends here initiated and the three bends here initiated, I'm not worried about it starting to roll inside of it because the tube is already kinked in a way that it's not gonna start rolling in a different direction now. Okay. So I'm just free to pump and pump and pump. Clearly one is bent more than the other, if you can't tell. So we'll give this side a couple of pumps and I think we'll hopefully get it to be a little bit more symmetrical. See, that's better.
It's way better.
Yeah. Thanks, baby.
Excellent job.
Yes, I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
So I did a little bit of cardboard aided design. I got this guy, this mount for this side, go on either side of it, and got this one for right here. So we'll cut them out and shape them up, make them look nice and pretty out of steel. building a fully custom exhaust for the F-150 Power Wheels. We're gonna reuse a little bit of the old one, but then we also have some pre-bent tubing that is nice and tight because it's mandrel bent. The plan is to take this, reuse the mount, have it come up and out of the hood, down along the side of the frame rail, and then we will be one step closer to the first start as well as the first test drive. Like, I think that no matter what way I rotate this, it's gonna slide into that port the correct way. I think I'm just gonna chop it kind of like right in the middle maybe. That way I have as much material on either end to work with.
You have to trim the body?
Well, just the under the hood, so it's not a big deal, luckily. That's not too bad.
I love that it has a hood that pops.
It's gonna be even cooler when the exhaust pipe comes through, up and through it.
Excellent. That looks so cool.
Look bad, right?
No, not at all.
That has got no business being that perfect. Like, you gotta be kidding me. That's literally just by eye.
It's like you know what you're doing or something.
It's like I know what I'm doing or something. Well said. Very well said. All right, so I just finished TIG welding this. Came out okay. I'm not a professional TIG welder by any means. So right about there is where I want this exhaust pipe to sit. We have a bunch of new tubing that came in. This is a couple of these guys, all 1.5 inch, which is fantastic. And I'm gonna cut this, weld up the exhaust pipe that goes down along here, around the bottom, and then up and into there. Because I think that's the only place that really putting the muffler and exhaust makes sense. If we do it underneath, we lose ground clearance as well as the bends get more and more intricate. If we try to do it out the center of the back, there's not enough room for the muffler. So I think that's really the only place that makes sense to put it. So yeah, let's get to it. Think that.
Let's get to it.
Let's get to it.
No warning of that.
Sorry.
You want me to burn my eyeballs out.
Yikes. I mean,
That looks so good.
thank
That
you.
really looks so good.
Yeah, it looks pretty freaking good. We got there in the end. It was a little bit of a challenge, but we got there. Jerk.
Careful.
I'm being so careful.
Not being careful.
I'm being very, very careful. Being very careful.
All right, so what did you get done yesterday?
So yesterday, I fully welded the exhaust, so it's nice and TIG welded together. Hopefully there are no leaks. The other things I did was I put the oil tank in, rerouted the oil lines, and I added the lines for the radiator. I also did almost all the wiring, but we have an issue where we don't have spark. So we're missing a signal somewhere. I'm just gonna figure that out, and then hopefully we get the first test start, which would be absolutely sick to hear this thing finally rhyme.
What is that?
This is the CDI box. It does something.
Well, I'm glad you know that it does something.
It's in charge of the timing of the engine. So when the spark is sent to the engine, at least that's what I tell myself. So like I said, this had serious wiring issues before I took this apart. This is the wire that goes to the clutch lever, and the person before me with this four-wheeler, that's how they made the connection. I mean, crimping it is one thing. This is just another. Like, this is next level bad.
All right, so do you think that that's the only issue? Why there's no spark right now?
It could be one of the main ones. Could be one of the main issues. We'll see. We'll see if it's the only issue. Last night when I was getting to crank over and I found out there's no spark because I was jumping the solenoid, I found out the wire was all messed up, as well as a couple other things. And so we got it cranking on its own the way it's supposed to be. Now I'm gonna pull this out and see if we have spark. Hey, we have spark too. You wanna come get a close up of it?
Yeah.
So look right in there.
Oh my God! Do it again. Great job, baby.
Thank you. All right, so plug that back in, spray some starter fluid in it and see if it starts.
What are you spraying?
Starter fluid.
Oh my God!
I know! Oh my God! Hell yeah, I'm so pumped. Did you hear how loud that is?
Yeah.
I have a fuel line here. Cut, put a little bit of gas in the temporary gas tank and see if it'll run under its own power for a second.
Holy crap, that's so loud.
Today, I finished drilling out that piece that did me dirty, and then I finished the clutch handle, clutch lever, as well as the lower mount for the clutch. And then I have the shifter hooked back up, as well as the chain on now for the drivetrain. So we are coming close to being ready for the first test drive. We have some odds and ends that we need to clean up with, mount the gas tank, as well as make the brakes work. So that's what I'm looking at right now. And then we gotta mount, like, you know, the oil tank, put coolant in it, clean up the wires, and then I think we can go for a nice, easy test drive in this video and see if anything breaks on us. So that's where we're at right now. We have the rotor on the shaft, on the jack shaft. We actually want to sit like this so that the bleeder's on the top. Sit right on there like that. And then we'll have, I think we're just gonna have a piece of angle iron that's gonna come off here and pick up this top mount. And then we'll do the same with the bottom, but that's gonna be really hard to see. Very nice.
You just made those two parts?
Yeah, these two little brackets.
Perfect.
Okay, we are getting ready for the sketchiest first test drive. Okay, I don't think it's getting gas right now. I knew this was going to be an issue because of where I mounted the gas tank. It's too low compared to the height of the carb. It's the perfect spot for the gas tank.
Is the gas tank being there going to be an issue like always?
It would be right now, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get like a small little 12 volt pump that you can just flip on. And then, like, rather than using gravity, so this,
It'll just pump it.
it'll just pump it to the
Okay.
carb. Once I bring this up high like this, all the fuel is going to go down and fill up everything that's lower than this point.
Did something just break?
Something definitely just broke. Okay, so we just looked at the footage and I think I just stalled. I think. It was just a really loud clank. And, you know, I think that there's just so many chains and so much looseness in the drivetrain right now that it made the clunk really, really bad. I think that's all that happened.
Great job, babe.
Well,
What?
it's got chain jump because this chain is way too loose right here.
Okay.
So every time I try to draw it, it jumps.
Okay. Well, at least now we know. Oh, I see it. Shit. But you're moving.
I'm moving so fast. This thing's a beast. That
What?
stretched so much. That stretched or something, or the engine moved.
The engine definitely moved because it's not.
Yeah, I mean, I could see the whole time the engine was like bouncing when I was driving.
Okay, so maybe it's not a chain issue, it's a mounting issue.
Yeah, I mean, the engine's mounted here on this guy. God, that was so stressful to move from there to there.
Yeah. It was stressful to watch you try to move from there to there.
We gotta figure out
Figured
something
out.
with the gas tank. Gotta get an inline pump and
And mount the engine.
mount the engine stronger. Because, I mean, that moved a lot.
And get a battery. I was gonna say, when you showed it to me earlier, the
Chain was tight.
chain was very tight.
Yeah.
And now it's just...
That's why I'm like, wow, that's really jumping for how tight it was. But it's like, you could take a whole link out of this very easily.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, honestly, a link and a half. So I'm going to pry the engine back forward tomorrow probably. And maybe make some more mounts up for the engine.
God, it's running so fast.
Literally, like, my arms are killing me trying to turn this thing. We are giving the Power Wheels a proper first test drive. It's got the body on it, the exhaust is wrapped, we've got the clutch figured out, the brakes done, gas tank mounted, and all the suspension finally welded. I broke it a couple times.
What happened?
That's not the point. It is time to give this thing a proper test drive. Let's see what it can finally do. I've been waiting for this for like 2 years, so let's do it. I want you to see me come around this corner. I'm gonna drive right by you. So you can see me crest the corner.
Oh my God. Explain to us what's going on.
So we've gotten all of the A-arms done, all of the like steering components, and we've taken all the tape off and they're drying just a little bit, but they are basically done. The frame is perfectly primed, and right now I am prepping the steering wheel to plasti dip where your hands go, so that way it's got like a rubberized texture, which I think is going to come out pretty good. So I'm just covering it up, the rest of it, so that way it's going to be two different tones of paint, so we want it to look good and we don't want them to like clash with each other. And while we were doing those coats, we did a coat of primer on the frame as well as finished up doing all of the black paint on the frame. It turned out really good, and now it's time to finally put this thing back together. All right, here comes the beautiful F150 Power Wheels. The nice green and purple and black, and we got nice zip tie stitching in there. It looks absolutely sick.
So
it looks so
good.
freaking good. It looks so mean and aggressive. Holy shit.
It looks so good.
It looks so freaking aggressive. I'm really freaking happy with how it turned out. Oh my God. It looks so good.
I can't wait to watch you ride it.
I know, I can't wait to freaking ride this thing. I didn't even get to jump it properly last time. It just decided to let a shock go. And the shock didn't break, it just disassembled spontaneously. And we lost the one piece.
The purple and the green go so well with the black.
I know, you know what? It reminds me of like an old 90s snowmobile. These colors, like this green and purple and black, that was all 90s. Honestly, if we threw some pink on there, then it would be really 90s. If we had pink shocks, like springs. All right, let's get some shots here before it starts raining on us.
Oh my God. That was so fast. That was so fast. That was so fast. That was so fast.
I know, that was sick, right?
One more time.